Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
Diversity and opportunity.
Lewis?
Freedom and freedom. So let's keep it that way.
Well, why is America
Not the greatest country in the world, Professor. That's my answer.
All right.
And yeah, you, sorority girl, just in case you accidentally wander into a voting booth one day, there's some things you should know. And one of them is, there is absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science, 49th in life expectancy, 178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income, number 4 in labor force, and number 4 in exports. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are allies. Now, none of this is the fault of a 20-year-old college student, but you nonetheless are, without a doubt, a member of the worst generation ever. So when you ask what makes us the greatest country in the world, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yosemite? Sure used to be. We stood up for what was right. We fought for moral reasons. We passed laws, struck down laws for moral reasons. We waged wars on poverty, not poor people. We sacrificed. We cared about our neighbors. We put our money where our mouths were, and we never beat our chest. We built great big things, made ungodly technological advances, explored the universe, cured diseases, and we cultivated the world's greatest artists and the world's greatest economy. We reached for the stars, acted like men. We aspired to intelligence. We didn't belittle it. It didn't make us feel inferior. We didn't identify ourselves by who we voted for in the last election, and we didn't scare so easy. We were able to be all these things and do all these things because we were informed by great men who were revered. First step in solving any problem is recognizing there is one. America is not the greatest country in the world anymore. Our job is to find the 2 candidates who'll give the voters the best competing arguments, and I don't believe we're seeing that.
Welcome to Princeton University in Princeton, New Jersey for the 5th debate in the 2012 Republican primary race, co-sponsored by Atlanta's Cable News and the Republican Party of New Jersey.
Senator Santorum, you've said that your campaign is about freedom, and that 20 years from now, you don't want to be telling your grandchildren how America once was free. Name 3 freedoms you had the day before President Obama was sworn in that you don't have now.
Obamacare, to begin with. Obamacare is the most egregious...
Have you had to change doctors?
May I finish?
No, sir. Have you had to change doctors?
No.
Has anyone in your family had to change doctors? Has there been any change at all in health care for you or your family?
I'm talking about Obamacare now.
My question was, name 3 freedoms that you had the day before the president was sworn in that you don't have now. Mr. Speaker, you just said that if you're elected, the price of gas will be $2.50 a gallon. How does the U.S. president control the price of oil? Governor, you've said that as president, you will never apologize for America. This question's in 2 parts. Name an instance in which the president has apologized for America, and can you imagine no instance in which a U.S. president should apologize for America?
Mr. McAvoy, I find it reprehensible that the liberal media would try to pit Republicans against one another, and I, for one, won't stand by while it happens.
This is the Republican primary, Mr. Speaker, and you're running for the nomination. It wasn't my idea to pit you against anyone. It was yours. Congressman Paul, I'd like to discuss the newsletters you wrote and sold starting in the 1990s.
I've already said everything I have to say. I never wrote those letters, and I never even read them.
They had your name on them, they had your signature on them, you made money from them, and in 1996 you defended them to the Dallas Morning News.
I don't like pretending.
Everybody stop. There's no need to go along any further. I see where you're going.
In the 32 months of Obama, there's been 3.1 million jobs created. In the 32 months after the Bush recession, he created 600,000. Or as they say on Fox News, shh.
This is the Congress that told poor women that families fell apart and the country went to hell because they stayed home with their kids and didn't go to work, and they told middle-class women that families fell apart and the country went to hell because they went to work and didn't stay home with their children.
I think the Republican Party is more than business. It's about farmers, it's about stay-at-home moms, it's about a whole universe of different people.
Let me give you some examples. Newt Gingrich called Obama the most radical leftist president in history. Senator Marco Rubio called him the most decisive figure in American history. Michelle Bachmann said Obama is the most radical president we have ever seen in the history of the country. And when has Michelle Bachmann ever been known to misjudge a man? John Bolton said, Obama just doesn't care about national security. Honestly, there are Mexican drug mules who don't pull this much stuff out of their ass. If we went back to the tax rates, not just for the rich.
But it's more than that, Bill. It's more than going back to the tax rates. It's more than just taxes. It's the level of spending that this country has undertaken over the last 15 to 20 years.
But and a lot of people that did this.
No. Show the chart. I knew you were going to say that. Show the chart.
Right?
This is what happened. Look at that. There, now that's in the beginning, that's World War II, of course, the debt was high, but then it went down, down, down. Where does it go up again? Reagan, Bush. Then Clinton takes it down again, up with Bush the second. Okay?
Okay, but look at, you're not talking about the little blue sliver there that says Obama, just in the corner off the screen.
Okay.
Do you know how much he has spent in the last 2 years?
It's
spent getting us out of the hole that other asshole does. Let's look at some facts. Now, for you Fox News viewers, feel free to turn down the sound until the flashing facts light at the bottom of your screen disappears. When Bill Clinton left office in 2001, the Congressional Budget Office predicted that by the end of the decade, we would have paid off the entire debt and have a $2 trillion surplus. Instead, we have a $10.5 trillion public debt, and the difference in those two numbers is mostly because the Republicans put tax cuts for the rich, free drugs for the elderly, and 2 wars on the layaway plan, and then bailed on the check. So much for fiscal responsibility. But hey, at least they still had the defense thing, right? The public still believed Republicans were tougher when it came to hunting down dark-skinned foreigners with funny-sounding names. But Bush had 7 years to get Osama. He didn't. He got Wesley Snipes.
Tonight's top story is a woman named Dorothy Cooper. Dorothy Cooper is a 96-year-old resident of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and has been voting for the last 75 years. This year, she's been told she can't. A new law in Tennessee requires residents to show a government-issued photo ID in order to vote. Dorothy Cooper doesn't have a driver's license because Dorothy Cooper doesn't have a car. Dorothy Cooper doesn't have a passport. A vacation abroad was never in her future. Tennessee isn't alone. At this moment, 33 states have proposed or already adopted the same voter ID laws that have disqualified Dorothy Cooper from the one fundamental thing that we all do as Americans. It's estimated that 11%, or roughly 20 million people, don't have government-issued voter IDs and will be disenfranchised this November. Why? To crack down on the terrible problem of voter fraud. Governor Rick Perry of Texas, who is about to enter the presidential primary race, is serious about cracking down on the problem.
Making sure that there's not fraud, making sure that someone's not manipulating that process makes all the sense in the world to me.
To me, too, because voter fraud is such a huge problem that during a 5-year period under the Bush administration, when 196 million votes were cast, the number of cases of voter fraud reached 86. Not 86,000, 86. Here's what that number looks like as a percentage of votes cast. 4 100,000ths of a percent. This would be called a solution without a problem, but it's not. It's just a solution to a different problem. Republicans have a hard time getting certain people to vote for them, so life would be a lot easier if certain people just weren't allowed to vote at all. I'm ashamed to say that 32 of the 33 voter ID laws were proposed by Republican legislators and passed by Republican-controlled state houses and signed into law by Republican governors. I am not, however, ashamed to say that I am a Republican. Most of all, you must never, under any circumstance, seek to reach a compromise with your opponent, or do any of what Democrats and genuine Republicans both call governing. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
Our top political priority over the next 2 years should be to deny President Obama a second term.
And one other plank in the Tea Party platform. If you're poor, it means you're either too lazy or too stupid to be rich. Here's Andre Bauer, Tea Party leader and Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina. My grandmother was not a highly educated woman, but she told me as a small child to quit feeding stray animals. You know why? Because they breed. It's almost hard to believe Republicans can't get Dorothy Cooper to vote for them.
He didn't create the recession, but he made it worse and longer.
When he took office, the economy was in recession, and he made it worse.
An NBC reporter asks Romney why he keeps saying Obama made the economy worse when it's gotten better. And here's Romney's answer.
I didn't say the things are worse.
Here's what Obama actually did. He cut taxes and spending. Look at this graph. These bars show the growth in federal spending for each president. Obama is at the bottom. Yes, the black man's is the shortest.
Oh, my God.
He didn't go on a spending spree. He didn't break up the too-big-to-fail banks. They've only gotten bigger and failier. That's not what liberals wanted, that's what conservatives wanted. At the 28 convention, Sarah Palin chanted, "Drill, baby, drill." Under Obama, there's more drilling than ever. That's not what environmentalists wanted, that's what conservatives wanted. Obama spent most of last year conceding the Republican premise that government needed cutting. That's not what progressives wanted, that's what the Tea Party wanted. The Dow was at 79.49 when he took office, now it's 12,000 and over. Corporate profits are at their highest ever. If he's a socialist, he's a lousy one.
Okay, have either of you ever heard the name David Koch?
I'm sorry?
David Koch.
No?
Have you ever heard the name Charles Koch?
No?
Have you ever heard the name Koch Industries?
Are you talking about Coca-Cola?
K-O-C-H. Have either of you heard of Koch Industries?
No?
I think that very soon you will. Koch Industries is the second largest private company in the country, bigger than Coca-Cola. And the Koch brothers' personal wealth of $50 billion is exceeded only by Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, and they could buy and sell George Soros 10 times over. They own dozens of companies and industries, including oil and gas, refining and chemicals, minerals, fertilizer, forestry, polymers, and fibers, and ranching. You two both attended the Texas Defending the American Dream Summit over the July 4th weekend?
It was a Tea Party event.
Today, the voices of average Americans are being drowned out by lobbyists and special interests, but you can do something about it.
Yes.
That summit was paid for entirely by Americans for Prosperity, AFP, which has two founders, David and Charles Koch. In the last 6 months, they bankrolled Tea Party candidates in excess of $40 million. Cheryl, Mike, are the Koch brothers average Americans whose voices are being drowned out by lobbyists and special interests? I'm confounded. The health care law hasn't taken effect yet. TARP was signed into law by George W. Bush. Name me the freedoms that you had the day before President Obama was sworn in that you don't have today. What is someone supposed to do with a bleeding Mexican? What state, what city, what county in this country is in danger of falling under Sharia law? Tea Party candidate Alan West. Tea Party candidate Michelle Bachmann. Tea Party candidate Tom Gray. Tim Griffin. Sean Duffy. Jeff Duncan. No, ma'am. Teen pregnancy rose over that period. The largest demographic of Americans living in poverty are children. Abolishing the minimum wage would create jobs. You know what else would? Slavery. The public school system has failed you, as did 3 of your college professors. It's going to come down, as it always does, to who shows up. Kyle, we all remember those Tea Party signs that said, "Keep your government hands off my Social Security." How do you explain people who are on Social Security voting for candidates who could well endanger Social Security?
I can't.
Well, they don't call you an analyst for nothing. We've got 12 minutes before the next round of polls close. We'll throw it now to Terry Smith and her team in Washington and see you on the other side. Terry, I don't know how you're going to follow Kyle, but give it a try.
From Bill O'Reilly interrupting the president 48 times in a 15-minute interview, to Joe Wilson heckling him in a speech before Congress, to Arizona Governor Jan Brewer sticking a finger in his face, something unprecedented is happening in the way conservatives disrespect this president. And I'm not talking about mere words uttered hundreds or thousands of miles away. Sean Hannity can say whatever he wants. Nobody looks to him as a model human being or even a human being. But this type of in the room, in your face, in your space, disrespect is new. Admit that, and I will admit that, of course, something like impeaching Clinton was far more serious. But it was also, at least in some ways, more respectful. It was done with high pomp, through official channels. It was all about the rule of law, and the Chief Justice wore a special robe he got from a musical or something. And somehow that is a lot more respectful than this.
We're out.